Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. When I was 8, my dad left my mom, and my Nana was furious. She yelled at my mom, "I told you not to marry a Sagittarius, but no, you think I'm just a babbling idiot." Then Nana turned to me and said, "Make sure you never fall in love with a Gemini. A Gemini and a Cancerian can never be soulmates." "What's that, Nana?" She gave me a book on astrology. "Here, this will tell you everything you need to know. Hi, my name is Flora, and ever since I saw my mom crying bitterly over my dad, I've been on a mission to find my soulmate. By 16, every guy in school had asked me out. 20 of them even said they loved me. One said, 'You're so perfect, Flora. I want to marry you.' But I knew better than to trust an Aries. Thank you, next." After I turned down every guy in school in search of the one, I just knew I was destined to die alone. But little did I know everything was about to change. One day when I went to the chemistry lab after cheer practice, I saw a huge crowd. For once, it wasn't boys lining up to ask me out. "Hello, excuse me, coming through." When I finally managed to get into class, the teacher told me to sit with some new guy at the back. "Since you're the teacher's assistant, I think you'd be best to help Mr. Tyler catch up on whatever he's missed." One of the girls whispered, "Really? Her? Why does she have to get everything? I can help him all day, every day." Curious to know what the big deal was, I looked over at him and immediately my heart started to beat like crazy. It was Tyler, the lead singer of a local band. And right now, he was looking at me and smiling. My heart. But the boy really did need all the help he could get. He couldn't even get a simple formula right. I had to show him 5 times before he finally got it. And when he did, he turned to me like an excited child and said, "Oh man, you're so cool. You want to come the next time I play live?" I nodded, thrilled. After school, I found myself looking for him. It wasn't hard. Just follow the yellow brick road of screaming groupies. I found him in the middle of a huge crowd. The minute he saw me, he grinned and waved me forward. "Girls, girls, please let the pretty lady pass." My heart did a somersault. Everyone around me turned red with envy. As I walked forward, I almost felt like I was walking down the aisle. "I do, Tyler, I do." But just then, someone said something that made me stop dead in my tracks. One of the girls yelled, "Tyler, I'm a Gemini like you." It was as if the whole world was collapsing around me. A stinking Gemini? I could practically see Nana's disapproval. So I did what she would have wanted. I turned around and walked away. I ran to the library. Maybe reading would help. Suddenly, my foot caught something and I tripped. "Whoa, are you all right?" I slowly opened my eyes to see who my savior was, and for a minute, time stood still and we stared into each other's eyes. I got up clumsily and apologized. He smiled and introduced himself as Harry. "It's my fault, really. Some of the girls found out I'm Tyler's stepbrother and they won't stop asking me for his hair." I laughed and said, "Yeah, I don't know what they see in him, except for the perfect face and the perfect voice and the smile and the eye." Before I could say anything else, Tyler barged in. "Flora, Flora." He stopped mid-sentence, and his smile faded as he looked at us with shock. The way he looked at me made my heart pound. I found myself moving even farther away from Harry. "I got your ticket for my show." Uh-oh. I jumped to my feet and grabbed it from his hands, running out with a hurried, "Thank you." I couldn't even look him in the eye. Why did he have to be a stupid Gemini? Harry ran after me and said he'd walk me home. When we got there, Nana opened the door and practically pulled him inside. "This is the first time our Flora has brought home a boy. You must be really special." I dragged him to my room and told him to wait as I got him some snacks. But little did I know what was happening in my room. Well, 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 what do we have here? My ticket to win her over. When I got back, he was looking at my book of horoscopes. "You really believe this stuff? It's been true so far." He chuckled, and I ended up telling him about my mom and dad. He listened with the saddest look in his eyes and then suddenly took my hand. "I know this will sound crazy and maybe you don't believe in all of this, but I feel like I've been looking for you forever. I think you're my soulmate." I gasped and pulled my hand away, and he suddenly looked embarrassed. "Maybe that was too soon, but you should know I plan to win you over." With that, he ran out. Had he just said the S word? Had I finally found the one? I swear I'm going to take her from him. She's mine now. Over the next few days, I felt like I was bumping into Tyler and Harry everywhere. Harry was sitting next to me in bio, and Tyler was my lab partner for chemistry. Harry was the sweetest. We could talk about things for hours. We liked all the same books and the same music, and he even liked pineapple on pizza. To top it all off, he told me he was a Taurus. There was no one better for a Cancerian than a Taurus, and this one seemed to be tailor-made for me. But then there was Tyler, who always did something to make my heart flutter. One day, as I was sitting in the cafeteria cafeteria reading a book, he sat down across from me. The entire cafeteria fell silent as everyone started to whisper about us. "Do you mind if I join you?" His voice was so sweet that I found myself nodding. He grinned at me like a kid and started chattering on about his day. I listened, oddly fascinated. As he talked, I found myself looking deep into his gorgeous, warm, brown eyes, and I realized in horror that I definitely had a crush. Just then, someone asked, "Would you mind if I join you?" I looked up to see Harry smiling down at me. Yeah. But as soon as Harry sat down, Tyler got up and marched away. Looking at him go, I felt my heart sink. What was wrong with me? Harry laughed and said, "He's such a Gemini." I nodded miserably. Tell me about it. A few days later, Tyler messaged me, "Hey, I hope I'll see you at the concert tonight. I'll be waiting." So of course, a few hours later, I found myself dressed up and ready to go. Nana called from downstairs. "Flora, there's someone here for you." I gasped. Was it Tyler? I ran downstairs and stopped in my tracks. Oh. It was Harry. Of course, Tyler wouldn't come to my place to pick me up for his concert. How stupid was I? And besides, why should it make me mad? He wasn't my soulmate, but Harry could be. Harry said he had a feeling I'd be going to the concert alone, so he came for me. Of course, trust Harry to be a steady, thoughtful Taurus. At the concert, as I had a VIP ticket, I was in the front row. Tyler, who was already on stage, smiled at me. That is, until he saw I wasn't alone. But near the end of the show, Harry disappeared, and when Tyler went off for a break, Harry suddenly appeared on stage. Perks of being the lead's brother, I guess. Then to my surprise, he yelled, "Guys, I'm Tyler's brother, and while he's off stage, I have an announcement to make. There's a girl here tonight who I've known for many months now, and from the very first day, I knew she was the only one for me. My soulmate, Flora." In a matter of minutes, I found myself on the stage as Harry got down on one knee and asked me to be his girlfriend. Officially! From the corner of my eye, I saw Tyler rush over. My heart was pounding, and an image of my mom crying flashed before my eyes. I'd been looking for a soulmate for years. "I will! Yes, I will!" Harry jumped in delight and kissed me. The crowd went wild. As Harry led me off stage, he stopped next to Tyler and said, "Thanks for letting me be on stage, man." I took a quick look at Tyler's face, and for a minute I wondered if I had done the right thing. He looked devastated. After that, I suddenly felt queasy, so I told Harry to drive me home. The next few weeks were amazing. Harry came over every day with flowers and drove me to school. He was treating me like a real princess, and even Nana approved of him because he was such a Taurus. That is, until he wasn't. You see, slowly, Harry started acting mean and rude. This one time we were on a date, and he yelled at the server. When I tried to calm him down, he said, "Be quiet, you stupid girl, and don't interfere in a man's business." I was so mad I walked out. He camped on my lawn that night till Nana forced me to forgive him. Another time, he took me out and tried to feed me shrimp. I'm allergic to them. I can't eat this. What's wrong with you? Why are you always so dramatic? I'm trying to be nice. Don't be mad. I suppose a bit won't kill me. I ended up taking a small nibble and took a small trip to the ER. One day he promised me he'd come to my cheer practice. Not only did he ghost me, but someone told me he'd invited a girl to watch a movie at his place. That jerk. I rushed over to his place. Just as I got there, I saw Tyler pull out of the driveway. I tried to talk to him. "Tyler!" But he ignored me and stormed out. The housekeeper who opened the door pointed to Harry's room and walked away. But Harry wasn't in his room. As I waited for him, my eyes landed on something. It was my diary. I ran over and picked it up. I'd been looking for it for months. What was it doing here? Harry returned then with a girl. The smile disappeared from his face as I asked him what this all meant. He laughed and said, "So, you finally found it. That's for the best, I suppose. I was planning on breaking up with you tomorrow anyway." For a minute, I felt like I would pass out. What did he mean? But why? Why do you have my diary? He laughed like a maniac again and said, "You really are the dumbest smart person." Then he said something that horrified me. He said he'd never been interested in dating me anyway. He'd only chased me because Tyler liked me. I'm so tired of always playing second fiddle to my jerk stepbrother. He's always getting things I want, so I took what he wanted for once. But now that he's going to London tonight, I don't have to keep up the stupid act. Hearing him say all that was making me angrier by the second. I grabbed stuff from his desk and started throwing them at him. "Are you even a Taurus?" "That's the only thing I didn't lie about, sweetie." I was shocked, but I didn't have time for this. I had to find Tyler before he left. I hopped into a cab. If I hurried, I might catch him outside. Throughout the ride, I kept wondering how someone who was my soulmate, according to Nana's book, could turn out to be so mean and vicious. Was all this really useless? Was Nana wrong? After driving for a grueling 20 minutes, all thoughts of soulmates and horoscopes fled my mind as I pulled up at the airport and saw him. He was at the entrance. I jumped out, "Tyler! Tyler!" Everyone stared except him. For a minute, I thought he would keep walking, but just then, he turned and looked at me in shock. I told Tyler everything Harry had done, and he looked as shook as I felt. Harry would never. Then I showed him my diary. He looked like he was about to puke, but he did make me realize something, Tyler. It's not him I love, it's you. Tyler looked at me sadly and said, "You made your choice, Flora. I know my brother wronged you, but I guess we missed our chance, and I have to go now." A gorgeous blonde suddenly ran over to us. "Babe, Tyler, we'll be late." I looked between them in shock. "Please let them be siblings. Please be siblings." But she turned to me and said, "If you don't mind, please, my boo and I have a flight to catch. We're starting college together." With that, she dragged him away as I stared in horror. Then I started to cry. I had been so focused on finding my soulmate that I didn't see the love of my life staring me in the face, and now he was leaving. I'd learned my lesson, and the minute I got home, I threw out all my astrology books. Who cares if some idiot is telling you which horoscope to be with? They don't know if a person is a jerk or not. They say if you truly love someone, set them free. Set them free. If they love you back, they will come back to you. But weeks and months passed, and I didn't hear a peep from Tyler. I decided to focus on my SATs instead so I could get into a good college. Then the day of my high school prom arrived. The whole week, I'd been finding love letters and roses and locks of hair in my locker. The football jocks kept saying that as a cheerleader, it was my duty to date at least one of them. The chemistry nerd said that since I was so good at schoolwork, I could only truly bond with one of them. In fact, even Harry showed up outside class, asking if I wanted to go with him. I practically threw my shoe at him. How dare he even think he had a chance? I obviously turned everyone down and decided to sit at home and miss Tyler. But as I wallowed in self-pity, the doorbell rang. I went to check and gasped, "Tyler!" I slammed the door shut. Was I dreaming? I pinched myself and carefully opened the door again. He was still there. He held up a single rose and said, "Flora, I don't know anything about soulmates, but I can't stop thinking about you. No girl could distract me, and God knows I tried. Now I really want to get to know you better, so will you go to prom with me?" I jumped into his arms and kissed him. The next day, he returned to London with a promise. "As soon as I'm done with my courses, I'll come back to you." I looked at myself in the mirror. I couldn't believe I was graduating college. Nana yelled, "Hurry up, we don't want to be late for your graduation." Outside, Mom and Nana were waiting for me. They weren't alone. With them was Tyler. "Congratulations, you beautiful, beautiful girl." I ran over to hug him, and quickly he got down on one knee and said, "Marry me, Flora. I can't live without you." That was 10 years ago. Even though we're not exactly alike and we fight sometimes, I know that if ever there was a soulmate for me, it was him, Gemini or not. We even have a little girl, Daisy. Mom, there's a new kid in my class and he's the weirdest. I bet he's an Aquarius."